were kinda shaky, and some were kinda sneaky, and some a little freaky. They say you find a soulmate, and maybe you do, but it's still not the same till she's through with you. Let's talk about the flame. Now what you gonna do? Not talking about games. I want no one but you. She's my twin flame. She's my twin flame. And she's just my style.
little bit of a delayed start than normal, but that's okay. It happens. Technology and whatnot. We're refreshing, doing different kinds of stuff over here at PolyvarsItyRecords.com. I'm Seth.
I'm Chris.
There you go. It's 10 Cent Beer Night, the sports show, PolyvarsItyRecords.com. Here every Wednesday night, 7:30 to 9:30 Eastern Time, PM from Akron, Ohio. We got a lot to talk about. Of course, this week it was supposed to be, if you are a fan of football in Northeast Ohio, I called it Hack a Harbaugh Weekend. However, a monumental game, one of the most watched sports games every year on TV, has been canceled. And thankfully, for the Buckeyes' sake, things have changed and say we're going to get to that in a sec. But no Michigan-Ohio State game this weekend because of COVID-19. And I'm doing this because, don't get me wrong, I don't want anybody getting hurt. I don't want anybody getting sick. I am not convinced this weekend's game got canceled because of COVID-19. You know, we were just talking about before we started the show. We had a statement from Ohio State's coach, Zach Day. We had a statement from Michigan's athletic director. We have not heard anything from Jim Harbaugh, who is facing probably his worst year as the head coach of Michigan. And I'm going to say it, they were going to drop 100 on him this Saturday. That's what they told him back in August when they had a little argument. That's what was going to happen this Saturday. And let's be like we're hearing some heat because Big Ten made a rule change this morning. The right rule change, in my opinion, that a minimum of 6 games did not need to be played in order to make the Big Ten championship. That being said, Ohio State will officially play Northwestern in the Big Ten championship on December 19th. Before we get to Ohio State, to get a real quick, let's give a shout out to Northwestern.
Yeah, 5-1.
Yeah. A couple years ago, they lost to the Akron Zips.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They haven't been a good team for a while. They're going to the Big Ten championship. That's a big deal. You know, I think early predictions would have had Wisconsin or somebody else there. Not this year. Northwestern, congratulations. They're headed to it. They will play Ohio State officially. But we have a lot of people feel Ohio State doesn't belong there, even though, if you want to be technical about it, everybody has only played their conference. These are, again, a reminder, these are unusual circumstances. These are not will not be the normal circumstances going forward, hopefully, after this year. But they beat Indiana, who was good. Yeah. They beat Penn State. They massacred Michigan State last week. Again, you were saying 23 players
23
out.
players are out, yep.
You know. Which makes question what's going on in Michigan right now, but that's what it is. Let's be honest here. If the Michigan game were to happen, would it have mattered that much?
I don't think Ohio State would have won.
Right.
I think just for what I would like from that game, why I'm kind of disappointed again not being played, is the aspect of the history of how long that game's been playing. Now that streak's broken. It's just something Ohio and, Michigan fans look forward to every year, end of the year, last game. It's Ohio State, Michigan. Why not?
Right.
Of course, everybody else will tune in too, like you said. So, why I'm kind of disappointed is the history of this game, where it goes back to years ago.
Before our grandparents were born,
it's not broken. It's the streak's now broken. It's done. Disappointing. It's perfect. I mean, big time TV.
Right.
That weekend, that game it's the money all over it. Disappointing. It's disappointing, but hey, we got it. We're able to get in the Big Ten championship game. I know a lot of other teams in the Big Ten are disappointed, but Ohio State's the moneymaker.
Right.
That's the way I look at it. They're the moneymaker. They're the face of the Big Ten, and if Big Ten wants a Big Ten team in the Final Four, it's going to be Ohio State.
Correct, right. And you've hit on everything there, I think. It is disappointing. The streak is over there. It didn't have to be. That's my big thing. It didn't have to be. This isn't like Michigan University is crawling with coronavirus. It's not like 60 players have the virus.
Right.
This was, we quit because of coronavirus, and that's it. Like, no more details. No, it feels like we're talking to the government here. Yeah. But no, we're talking about Jim Harbaugh. And it gets to the point, you've already looked bad enough. At least you could at least have showed up.
Right.
You know what I mean? And now you guys were mentioning before the show today that Harbaugh was offered an extension, which surprised me because this team is now going backwards. You know what I mean? And like I said, and I actually like Harbaugh as a coach, setting aside the Michigan thing, but I liked him as an NFL coach. Because people can remember before he took over that San Francisco 49er squad, they looked like the Jets do today.
Right.
They looked bad, and they didn't look bad for 1 year. They looked bad for 3-4 years.
Right.
And it was just with Mike Nolan, I think, was the coach. We're going way back, former defense coordinator of the Ravens, and he comes in there. They draft and make the right moves they have to make, and that team go to the NFC Championship back-to-back years, will take to the Super Bowl, and at the goal, like Colin Kaepernick has 5 chances, and he cannot pull it off. But my point being is they were a successful team. Harbaugh's he's a good NFL coach, but he's not a good college coach. And he wasn't that good at Stanford either. But now, if you're Ohio State, even if you're a Michigan fan, you've got to question what's going on the past couple of days in Michigan. Because, again, you haven't heard from your coach. You know you're not playing good football. You knew that you were heavily underrated in this. Obviously not underdogged in this one. Because
30 point.
I think.
When was the last time you seen Ohio State, or either Michigan, when Michigan was good back then, beating Ohio State? When was the last time you seen that 30-point favorite? I can't even imagine a 30-point favorite.
Again, that's why I do not believe this is Corona related at all. He bowed out. That's what it comes down to. He did not want to get embarrassed. So what he did was he ended a streak that was valuable to both schools. It's not just Ohio, because it's not that I don't want to just see Ohio State beat up on Michigan. There was a history here, and he just ripped it away for his own face. Now, I think that's going to hurt his legacy from moving forward now, But official move was made by Big Ten today. Ohio State season's saved, because if it wasn't for that, Ohio State would be done by now.
Right.
And I do think and I'm being unbiased as much as I can here, because I do love Ohio State football, but they still played 5 games. They still beat those key teams. They could have lost 2 games. And if they did, Big Ten probably not bad at an eye.
Right.
But it comes down to they did play their games. They wanted to actually, I heard rumors they wanted to reschedule with either Illinois or Maryland, whoever they canceled with. But that was going to be a hassle within itself. It was just better off to do it this way. Again, they could have lost those games, but they didn't. And then those games that they did cancel outside of Michigan, it was for good reason. Ohio State wanted to play, but it was at least the last one that I think it was Illinois they can't. But this and that happened, and then they didn't coach the last one. But I forgot to turn on the game. I'll be honest. When I saw the final score, I said, "Well, it would not mattered anyway." They beat them by 40. And Coach Johnson, right?
Yeah,
he did a heck of a job out there. So just reviewing everything, and this is going to be a big. Now moving forward, this is going to be. We'll talk more about December 19th when we get a little closer. But this is going to be a big moment for now Josh Fields going forward, because he's still up there with the Heisman. He had one bad game. He's still in the talks there. But it would be big for his pro rankings and his legacy if all these doubters, he could win the Big Ten and win the next 2 games after that and hold the championship up for Ohio State, which I think is a possibility. I honestly do. This is still a very talented Ohio State team. They've been playing overall very well. They just had that one game against Indiana, which Indiana was good this year.
Yeah.
And even though Indiana's upset to hear about this, you still lost to Ohio State. Had you beat them, this is a different situation.
Right.
But it is what it is. Ohio State's still in the top 4. They will play the Big Ten.
Like I said earlier before the show started, I was listening to some ESPN. Herb Street was talking, and he said, since Ohio State's not playing this week, okay, we're going to need Alabama to beat Florida. So that's going to help Buckeyes out big time to try to keep them in that 4. If Florida wins, it might get kind of...
Oh, yeah. And Florida's playing their best since Urban Meyer.
Yeah, and then Ohio State will definitely, I'm sure, win the Big Ten championship game, but this will help with Ohio State for not playing this week. If Florida loses, this will help Ohio State. So, hate to be an Alabama fan this week, but I might for one day.
It is. I'm open to playing Alabama, tipping off that playoff. The last time we did, they won the championship. They rolled. It was a very special moment. Looking at the other scores real quick for the Big Ten this week, Illinois will play 14th Northwestern. I think Northwestern will pull that one off. We'll still see them right now. Now Northwestern. Now that could shake it up if they were to lose, but we've seen a lot of upsets. But I think Northwestern has that one. Minnesota will take on Nebraska 2-3, 2-4. 2-5 Rutgers will take on 2-2 Maryland. 2-2 Wisconsin will take on number 16, 5-2 Iowa. Kurt Friend still over there. Michigan State 2-4 will take on 2-5 Penn State. I thought Penn State would be better this year. And then Michigan and Ohio State, of course, is canceled. Purdue and Indiana is canceled. So there you have it there. But we need to make another quick shout out. Something that did happen right last week. Ladies and gentlemen, the streak is over. The Akron Zips have won a game. So, beating Bowling Green in Akron.
I had to double check my news feed to make sure that I was right. Because I thought I was seeing something, but I wasn't sure what I was seeing. But I had to double check my news feed, see that I was right. That's good for them. Akron needed this one. The program needed it.
The coach needed it. This is his first, and this is exactly. This is a great coach. This is a coach. The players have told us personally that they really like this guy. They want to play for him. They want to win with him. And it threw the whole what happened this year with the virus. What threw a wrench in his system too. They would have been more prepared going into the year, but given the circumstances, he had to deal with the cards he was dealing with like everybody else. A real quick rundown of the MAC scores this week. Northern Illinois 0-5 will play 1-4 Eastern Michigan. This one will be a good one for the MAC. 4-1 Western Michigan will play 4-1 Ball State. 2-1 Miami, Ohio will play 0-5 Bowling Green, who just suffered a loss to Akron. This is where it gets bad. 1-4 Akron will play 4-0 Buffalo. Yeah. Buffalo beat the snot out of Kent State a couple weeks ago. You saw how close. Well, Kent State pulled away. It beat Akron up pretty badly, but how close that was in that first half. Buffalo's a very good team with a potential NFL running back there. That's going to be
8 touchdowns, almost broke the MAC record or something, and the coach pulled him.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, it's crazy.
Exactly. We were talking about the spread, 30-point difference between Ohio State and Michigan. It's 32.5 between Buffalo and Zip, so it's going to be bad. 3-2 Central Michigan will play 3-2 Toledo. Toledo surprisingly losing a couple games there. I had them really high. Ohio and Kent State has been canceled. So there you go. Kent State faces another canceled game there. They didn't play last week either. So there. But that's basically, that's your Big Ten and MAC. Real quick, let's pull up the top 25 to see who's still playing. Alabama will play Arkansas. Of course, number 1 in the league. Arkansas is 3-6. Bama's going to roll on that one. Number 9, Georgia will 6-2. Will play number 25, Missouri 5-3. That will be a good SEC battle right there. Number 11, Oklahoma 7-2 will play 5-4 Western Michigan. I expect Oklahoma to beat them on that one. We mentioned Northwestern and Illinois. 1-2 Utah will play number 21 ranked Colorado 4-0. Number 13 Coastal Carolina are 10-0. They'll take on 5-5 Troy. They had a good win last week, Coastal Carolina there at the goal line there. That was big. Number 17 North Carolina, who is 7-3, will play at number 10 Miami 8-1. People thought Miami was going to be the playoff. I guess they're kind of still hanging in the balance in a way there. We'll see. We mentioned Wisconsin and Iowa. Number 20 Texas 6-3 with Ohio State's former O coordinator there. Rebuilding that play will take on the 0-9 Kansas. That's Chip Kelly's team now, isn't that? He hasn't seen success since he left Oregon there. Number 3 and 5 LSU. Man, what a turn from a year ago.
Yep.
We'll take on number 6 Florida. They are 8-1. Of course, we just talked about Florida is still in the loop. There's a possible playoff there. Number 22 Oklahoma State 6-3 will play 2-6 Baylor. Number 15 USC, who is 4-0, will play 3-2 UCLA, and then San Diego State 4-3 will play number 18 BYU, who is 9-1. Their BYU having a very good game. Actually, their quarterback, I heard, is in talks of being a potential first-round pick in the NFL draft. Again, Michigan, Ohio State canceled. Ole Miss and number 5 Texas A&M postponed. Number 8 Cincinnati, Luke Finkel there, and at number 24 Tulsa are canceled. And then of course we mentioned Purdue and Indiana are also canceled there. So unfortunately, a couple key games there canceled, but a couple good ones still to come. Which right now, if you're looking at everything in college football, this has to stink being a scout in the NFL.
Right.
Because you're not seeing certain key games. You want to see some of these players play. It gets really tough. It gets to the point, but at the same time, what can you do? You got to go with the footage you have.
Right.
You got to go.
Yeah.
You know
Tape's going to be huge for the scouts this year. Definitely for NFL. Tape's going to be huge.
They're feeling like the NBA scouts right
Yeah.
now. They didn't get that big tournament. They didn't even get the conference tournament to check these guys out. So now they have to make these adjustments now to see if these players belong on their team in the NFL. But that's a little bit more down the road. But right now, that's where they are at mentally, too. But the good news is Ohio State we will see at the Big Ten game no matter what. And we'll see the Akron Steps attempt to upset Buffalo. Maybe that one win rejuvenates them a little bit. They got the monkey off their back. They can move forward, but it's gonna be a tough one. Buffalo.
Yeah, I think that one win just brings more excitement. Maybe just going to practice this week, and the practice might be more excitement than it has been.
Right.
Bring more excitement to things. Just overall, yeah, it's gonna be a tough battle this week. I mean, if they could shut down their running back and make some turnovers on defense, who knows? We'll see.
Yeah.
I like Akron's quarterback.
Yes.
I like him a lot. I like their running back. They're both young.
The offense has done well this year. It's the defense that's really struggling. You looked at the Akron-Kent game and how close it was at halftime because both offenses were going off each other, but that the Akron defense was just giving up too much space.
And basically what happened in that game, Kent quit turning the ball over.
Right.
Kent turned the ball over in their own Akron's own 20. And turn it over another time during the game, fumbled on a drive, almost a driving score. So Kent quit turning the ball over, so that's what happened. Kent just quit turning the ball over, and then the game just switched. They're just driving now left and right. That quarterback for Kenton's good. He's being highly looked at by NFL scouts, too.
As well.
He is real good.
We haven't seen so much attention to MAC quarterbacks in a while.
Right.
It's been because there was a while there in the 2000s, of course, Ben Roethlisberger there for the Steelers. Charlie Fry, Byron Leftwich. There's a couple I can't think of, but there was a while there MAC quarterbacks were taken seriously. It kind of fell off the map a bit. More other position players.
Right.
Now they're getting better looks. It's a good feel. It's been a while. I guess it's been about 15 years since they've considered a serious MAC quarterback, but it is what it is.
Even if Akron just wins one game, that's one game they can look at in the offseason and be like, we won one game.
Right.
Okay, it might be a little different feel around the campus, different feel winning one game instead of just losing all of them. So I think it's a good win. It's a good win for the program. They needed it. They needed it bad. They needed it, and hopefully they can learn off of this win. Not go backwards.
And the coach is going to need another year to get more of the players he's looking at to build the program he wants. And at the same time, again, this whole thing, it threw a wrench and everything. The MAC schools, they're not the ones that are going to get the 5-star, maybe even the 4-star talent. So he's got to get what he can get, and he's got to work with what he can work with. And the whole MAC got shoved. I'll be honest, if you told me, I know Kent State canceled a couple games, but they also lost a couple too. I would have said they were a threat to potentially go undefeated. It was maybe not necessarily Kent, but I should retract that statement and say more Toledo too, because Toledo's just had that great athletic program over there. But again, it is. I knew Buffalo was going to be as good as they were.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? They've been doing really well of late. That's what we'll just have to wait and see. Buffalo will probably be the favorite in the MAC to go to the bowl game, because there's going to be only one MAC team that really will. Western Michigan still play good, even though they lost their coach to Minnesota a couple years ago. They still consistently have built a strong program over there, a good threat in the MAC. I want to also throw out there real quick a little bit off of football. Congratulations to the women's basketball team for Akron, who has just been ranked number 23 in the nation today. top 25. Anytime a MAC team can get in the top 25 in any sport, it's a big deal. I know the rifle team is very good, but people don't really talk about the rifle. But there you go. Women's basketball has taken a great start. We're hoping the men's will also. Right now it stinks. We can't even go to a game now.
Yeah, actually, just before I came, I was looking at the Akron schedule. They cancel that tournament they're in, and then they don't play till like next week sometime. Right. So then they play like that. They play Kent next Saturday. So.
Yeah, which is weird.
It's weird, yeah.
Yeah, it's just how they shuffled that. It's respect the rivalry, but
wait play back Tuesday, Saturday, I believe, or something like that next week. So
it's.
But they have a long. With them canceling that tournament, they're not playing until next Tuesday.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of other teams in the MAC going now, and they haven't even played yet. You know.
While we're on the subject of basketball, let's shift gears a bit. We are going to see Cavaliers basketball coming up in a couple weeks. Of course, there's the preseason, but I'm more talking about the 23rd first game at home in years. First game, I should say, against the Hornets, who are starting to get better players now. They got Gordon Hayward, they got LaMelo Ball in the draft. They're starting to shape up pretty well. But the Cavaliers, they're very ecstatic and happy in camp right now to have each other back. Right now, no JaVale McGee. He's coming in soon. It has to do, I think, with the transition and everything. Yeah. It's some technical rules. Kevin Porter Jr. because of
off the court
issues there, but they said he will be back with the team soon. An update from the team yesterday said it's between rookie Isaac Okoro and Chetty Osman for the small forward position there. I was reading stuff about a lot of the team felt last year at this time. Not at this time, actually, because they were underway at this time. Yeah. But in the training camp, I should say, they thought Dylan Windler was going to run away with a starting role. Well, he hurts his leg. They don't really see him play after that. But now he's back. Okay, he's played well. He's no longer in the talks for the small forward position. But now with Porter kind of in limbo right now, I mean, he'll be back. They already said that. But right now, he's out of the loop. Could this be a guy that is going to be a new fan favorite for the Cleveland Cavaliers here?
Well, I can see it. Yeah, I can see it. He's young, he's an exciting player to watch. It's just with the Cavs, though. I just hope this season, they can build off of this, these close times they've had in the bubble.
Right.
Normally, they wouldn't be around each other this much.
Right, correct.
They've been around each other a lot more than they have been. So hopefully they can feed off of that. And what's going to happen without Tristan Thompson, Boston now. So it's going to be interesting to see there. I think with McGee, it's a nice pickup, though. He's a nice rebounder. He gets the boards good. That's going to be nice to see. He played well for the Lakers. So it's going to be interesting to see, even though Tristan. I just hope they get up and down.
Right.
Cavs can get up and down and be competitive. That's what I want to see.
Exactly. And right now they had to have the locker room is one, which is a big deal because a lot of people do not realize, and you're seeing it now in the headlines with Mr. Kyrie Irving. For the record, I loved him as a player. I really did like him a lot here. But the last time LeBron left, there was too much drama, and they built their locker. They also built their team on some questionable talent. Now they're getting more raw, athletic talent on both sides of the court. They got a great coach and Bickerstaff. And the locker room is united as better than it was when they won the championship. Yeah. That's I'm going to say that. That's even Kevin Porter, despite everything that's happened off the court, he was always stick up for teams saying this team is better than what it looks like. We're going to win more than 20 games, and they could have. Yeah. They got stopped. They could have pulled it off, and they were playing well before the pandemic hit. But what I will be interested to see is the improvement from some of the young players and the Bickerstaff coming in and what changes he makes. Because the other thing, too, is, when they brought Beeline in, they were looking for players that matched his system. Beeline's still in the front office. He's still working, doing his college scout and everything. When they drafted Windler, it was because of Beeline like those kind of players. Now, those kind of players work out the defensive and three-point guys all over the league now. It's now a common theme for every team to have one. He added another one, the kid from the Knicks, Jones.
Kind
of J.R. Smith-like in a way, too. Just the way he shoots the ball. But Windler can help space the floor a bit, stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see how Bickerstaff plans to use him compared to how Beli would have used him. He didn't really get a chance to use it there. But I can remember that summer camp before Garland was ready, before Porter. Porter got kind of banged up. He didn't get to play the summer league, but Windler carried the team. And that said a lot right there. I know it's just summer league, but you're coming in, you got to make some kind of noise there, get an impression what they're looking at, and he really did play well there. Looking ahead, Larry Nance Jr. sang a lot of great things. They said Garland came in, he is stronger, tougher. In the summer bubble, he was the best player on the court. That's what they're. So that is very encouraging. I really like Garland. We just didn't get to see what we were hoping for last year from him, statistically, I should say. But I will say, down the stretch, what I liked about Garland that you can't see these things in the statistics. When it came to games that people didn't have them winning, that they did win, close games, or even games that should not have been close but still were at the end, when he took that ball down, 99% of the time, he made the best decision. We're talking within the last 5 minutes of the game. I'm talking about whether he found the perfect shot to take or the perfect pass to get that shot. You know what I mean? He was like a ball hawk. He was just analyzing, like a point guard should, where the defense was, where his teammate was, and he made the best decision to help them win that game. And again, statistics aren't going to show you that, but that's what this guy can bring to the table. Colin Sexton's also getting bigger and stronger. They were showing some comparisons to Russell Westbrook, which I thought was kind of huge. Whether that's, remains to be seen, we're going to find out, but Sexton's a high energy player. And you got a healthy Kevin Love there, too. Yeah. I'm excited. I think if this team is healthy, and with the conference the way it is, and I know it's a little tougher now, okay? Boston's a little better. Kevin Durant's back. He's with the Nets now. And Miami's still a good team. I don't think a low playoff seed is out of the question right now. It's a possibility. I'm not going to put money on it, but I'm saying because there's still a lot that has to happen. But you look at this team, it's like, I feel a lot better than the past, and it's also partially because of the veterans there too, with Nance, Love, and Drummond down there, and now McGee. You know what I mean? Coming off the bench there, but. I've missed these guys for a while. This is the longest. Some of those 8 teams, this is the longest they've been away from the game in the history. And for some teams that just finished up finals, playoffs, this is their shortest break too. So it was a loss for everybody involved there. The only thing looking ahead for the Cavs, something to be aware of, is some of the reports of some of the bigger moves being today. One of them being now James Harden has opened the Rockets to trade him to the 76ers.
Yeah,
that one is iffy for me, and I'm going to tell you why. Of course, James Harden being a 2-time MVP, he is a very good player, one of the best in the league. There is no doubt there is issues there between Harden and certain players and whatnot. The 76ers problem is, they keep changing coaches and whatnot, thinking that will fix it. They have a bad locker room. They do. Now, bad locker rooms doesn't always mean they're not going to win the championship. Throwing Harden in there in the mix doesn't they will be good, but they also had Jimmy Butler at a time. They also they had Al Horford at a time to help them out, and they just could not get to that through that hump.
Right.
And so I'm going to say, even with the 2-time MVP there, as good as he is, with everything else you got going, that's not a guaranteed thing. You know what I mean? And then we know the Rockets want to get younger. It finally came out what they want for Russell Westbrook. Did you hear about this? They wanted Garland, Love, and 2 first-round picks.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
I'm glad they did not pull that trigger on that one. It just would not have been worth it long-term for the Cavs. But, again, I guess Ben Simmons' name has come up in the conversations, whether they'll happen or not. But
thing about the Sixers, they got Doc Rivers now as the coach, so that's gonna be interesting to watch. See what's gonna happen with them.
Right.
I think he's gonna bring more of the discipline aspect of it to the team, and maybe clean a lot of things up that shouldn't have been going on.
Right, and I think Rivers is a good coach. I do think he needs certain players like he had in Boston to pull off what he did to win those championships. But you look at last year with the Clippers, and people thought they were going to do something they didn't. And that's not all Rivers' fault for the record. They did not come through. So if they do truly get Harden, okay, Rivers is going to have to try to tell these guys, we're going to make a mental adjustment. Right. This is a very talented team. Anything short of the Eastern Conference Finals is terrible, basically.
Right.
But you saw the fall apart to the Western Conference Finals that he had with the Clippers. It's going to be a wait and see thing. It's first if it ever happens, if they do it. Of course, the Rockets there, they had planned to take the next big step, but it might be time to crash right now.
Mm-hmm.
Just clean slate. You got a couple good drafts coming up. It might not hurt just to rebuild, find something new, build a new environment. And I don't mean to start rumors, but a couple years ago, now Cavaliers have J.B. Bickerstaff, a very good coach in the NBA. Bickerstaff was an interim for the Rockets. They had fired their coach at the time. I can't think of who it was he replaced. Bickerstaff took them to the playoffs. They won a round, maybe even two, I forget. And after that, they offered Bickerstaff a job, and he told them no. I think he saw. I mean, you look at what happened afterwards with the other coaches and with D'Antonio and everything. You have to wonder if he saw something. Right. I mean, this is a coach. He did very well with the cards he was dealt with. This was his big chance, and he told them no. You know what I mean? And then he ended up going to Memphis. Memphis didn't really give him, I think, a long enough shot. Now he's in Cleveland. But Bickerstaff, he wants to be here. So he sees something that's more worthwhile. And I think that says a lot. Somebody that has good judgment and everything there. The other thing that was brought up in the big headlines of the NBA today is there is a push by the man himself. Paul Gasol is coming back in the league. He has 10 offers on the table, and he did come out and say the Lakers are favored with his brother Mark. Of course, he played there and won a couple championships with Kobe. And of course, like Lakers had a heck of an offseason to make a run at repeating and whatnot. But it'd be nice to see him play with his brother Mark. But I also think there's part of him wants to, while he's still healthy and able, he wants to contribute as a memory of Kobe, I'm guessing, because he's so close to that family and everything. And this is coming out of nowhere, too. Yeah. All of a sudden, Paul Gasol is in talks of coming back to the NBA. And I'll be honest, I think it would be cool. I think to play alongside his brother, play alongside LeBron and everything, and try to win another championship for the LA Lakers there. So it's going to be a wait to see thing, but it's looking like he's going to do it. Again, he's got 10 offers on the table, probably all playoff teams looking for that. He's only been gone for, a couple years now? Yeah, he was with the Spurs for a while. Maybe, if that. It might be just two. But he was with the Spurs last time before he took off. No joke. I wouldn't be surprised if Grizzlies were on there trying to make a reunion with him because they are good. They made the playoffs. They could potentially make the playoffs again. We'll see. But NBA's on the horizon. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of moves get made before that. Cavs are pretty much set of what they want to do. They're just trying to trim down, play their preseason, trim down the roster, see who makes it and whatnot. But it's going to be. I think it's going to be a fun season. It's going to be better than a lot of people think.
They're saying only 300 fans in the Cavs.
Which is not much at
all.
So
that's pretty much season ticket holders, or not even all of them, just...
No.
Pretty much going to be season ticket holders.
Exactly.
Pretty much be going to the game, so... but...
It's all they could do right now, you know what I mean? And just in that new place, 300 fans, that's nothing. It's like if they're coming
They'll sit them on the bottom level, probably on the bottom level, so,
it's like a Cincinnati Bengals game at a point. It's like all that space and nobody's there.
Well,
damn. It's
crazy how, it's all this time's going on, this craziness that we're in. Seeing all these, even in the NFL, seeing all these empty stadiums. And one stadium that really is weird in the NFL being empty is the Packers.
Yes.
That's a weird stadium to look at empty.
Because it's never empty.
No.
That's the thing. This is just the time of the year where it's snowing and they're wearing no shirts on and everything. A Packers fan, which I am a Packers fan. They were the team when I was a little kid and the Browns weren't around and I didn't have a favorite team. Packers were my team. They're my NFC team now. Right. I always said they can win as many games and Super Bowls as they want as long as they're not playing the Browns. Right. Of course, they don't have to worry about the Browns going to the Super Bowl until just recently they're starting to change things for the better. But one game at a time, I'm not going to jump the gun. Right. But again, I always admired the Packers environment and the fans and stuff there. And if you really think of Wisconsin, it's a little relatable to Ohio. Oh yeah. A lot of farmland, a lot of blue collar. That's why Joe Thomas, He's from Wisconsin. He played for Wisconsin. He
Pleasant,
loved Cleveland so much. He goes, "This reminds me of home." Just a little bit different. So I could relate to it, but yeah, that's just that stadium empty, and that's a good point. They're playing so well too, and they've been playing well. That coach has had an incredible record for the first 2 years. So we'll find out. So we're definitely going to talk about NFL too after our first break in a few minutes here. But I just want to touch up on some other things. For the Cleveland Indians, not as much going on right now. The Rule 5 draft's coming. They're hopefully not going to lose any players in that, but if they do, they do. Francisco Lindor's name. Now, today's new report is they're aggressively hearing offers. It sounds like it's time to Carlos Santana's.
Yeah.
Now with the Kansas City Royals, so that was a fan favorite loss. His family might still live here in Cleveland like he did when he was in Philly. I don't know, that's his personal business, but he never said a bad thing about it. He loved Cleveland so much. But signed 2 years, $17 million. The one thing people are wondering that may have hurt the Indians in a way is they're looking for some outfield help. Chicago White Sox signed Adam Eaton to a 1 year, $7 million deal, and $7 million for 1 year is still a little iffy with the Indians. But if they want to sign guys like Cesar Hernandez for second base, bring him back, they're going to have to hash out that money for 1 year.
Right.
I still anticipate a solid season from the Indians, health depending, but again, they have a whole off season, but it's going to be interesting how they handle the whole Lindor thing. Because it's like you don't want to see him go, but at the same time, they're not going to have the funds to keep him. We know that. He's already said he wants to hear the money. No matter he won't even consider what has happened in the world in the past year, which has affected all Major League Baseball teams, especially the middle market teams there. But it's going to be a wait and see thing where they where they sit on here going into the off season, but they trimmed their roster. First base is open now. That opens up chances for Bobby Bradley, Josh Naylor, and now Nolan Jones is in the talks to that too. So we'll find out. We'll find out what's going on there with the Indians, but we should hear more in the next couple of weeks or so. But right now, I think the focus just is on the finishing of college and NFL.
Yeah.
And then the NBA starting up too. Again, NBA fans, in their defense too, they've lost about a month of basketball than normal because they normally get it back at the end of October, and now they had NBA till October, but not everybody has their team right now going, so it's going to be interesting there. I think let's talk a little local. LeBron James and the Lakers, like I said, they're pretty much right now favored to repeat. Do you think even with Klay Thompson out, the Golden State Warriors are that big of a threat to them right now?
No, not to know. With Thompson being out, it's pretty much hurts the Warriors.
Golden State's chances.
Golden State. They're looking for him to come back. And how he got hurt was it in the pickup basketball game or something, or
they said he was working out
or something. Yeah. That's crazy, but no, I think the Lakers. I think they do win another championship. Just by the off season, what they
early
did.
predictions.
I think LeBron signed a 2 year deal.
Extension.
He's
got a couple years there. Davis signed
his deal. They got Gasol brother, possibly the other one, Mark. So then
Dennis
got some bench
Schroeder.
help. They got some. Yeah, he's tough from Atlanta, right?
Yep.
He's tough. So
Harrell or.
I think they're a little better in certain ends than they were past season. But I think they can do it again if they stay healthy, number one. But it should be interesting. I'm excited for NBA. Just hope we can get through this without COVID shutdown or canceling games. Hope they did well in the bubble, though. I'll give the NBA that. They did real well in the bubble. They had no cases or nothing in the bubble, so they did real well. So let's see when teams have to travel now.
Exactly.
The stadiums, what happens. So it should be interesting.
Yeah, you brought that up, and that was a good point there because Richard Jefferson, former Cavalier, has his own TV show. LeBron's been on the past couple times, and he made the comment, I've won the 2 toughest finals in NBA history, one being coming back in 2016. But he did say he made an interesting comment to Richard Jefferson saying we would not have won in 2016 if we had to deal with this in 2016. Because I guess the way everything was set up, he said going back to Cleveland helped that come back out. He said, but being in Miami, in hotels or Orlando, wherever they were at, it just would not have been enough setting to help push that comeback there. Which was a very interesting comment by him, and just shows how different that was down there too. And I'm not trying to take away from it too. That's the one thing that's annoying me is when you got your sport back, it was an agreement. Whatever happens. You know, calling the Dodgers, well, they didn't really win in short. No, they won.
They won.
Championship. The LA Lakers, we had most of our season. We just didn't have all of it, but they won their championship. You know what I mean? It is, and then whoever won in hockey too, I can't even remember.
I call it a COVID championship, but it's a championship.
It is. There shouldn't be an asterisk, you know, unless you have a fantasy team. Like my fantasy basketball teams, all three of them won, but that's because they have the best record in the season. I couldn't even have a tournament there. Fantasy football, we were able to finish off the seasons there. I finished off the season in my personal league there that I've had for 15 years. I felt 12 points shy of making the playoffs. You know, not that 12 points I didn't win the game. I won the games. There was all these ties, but due to technical reasons, I felt 12. If Odell Beckham didn't get hurt, I probably would have made the playoffs. Yeah. If I would have picked somebody over James White, I would have probably made the playoffs. But that's why we play the game. You know what I mean? So there you have it. Let me check. You know what? It's time for break. When we get back, we will be talking about the NFL. The Browns are 9-3. I didn't think I would say that at this time, and I'm glad to say that at this time. But all kinds of different things jumbled this past week. We'll see what happens. We'll tell you about schedule changes, too, in the NFL that have just happened. So we'll be right back here. Give us about 5 minutes here at PolymerCityRecords.com. This is 10 Cent Beer Night. We'll be right back.
These blues. This morning the blues walked in like a man. All these blues. The blues walked in like a man. Worried blues. 'cause the blues is a low down and a shaking chill. Yes, preach it now. If you ain't never had 'em, I hope you never will. When I preach these blues, you come on in, take your seat and sit on down. When I preach these blues, you come on in, take your seat and sit on down. And if the spirit moves you, if the spirit moves you, and if the spirit moves you, Lord, if the spirit moves you, jump straight up and down. That these blues is a low down and an aching heart disease. Yeah, these blues is a low down and an aching old heart disease. Like consumption, killing me by degrees. I can study the rain, oh, I drive my blues away. I've been studying the rain, I'm gonna drive my blues away. Going out to the distillery, gonna stay out there all day. Up jump the devil. Shaky, and some were kinda sneaky, and some a little freaky. They say you find a soulmate, and maybe you do, but it's still not the same till she's through with you. Let's talk about the flame. Now what you gonna do? Not talking about games. I want no one but you. She's my twin flame. She's my twin flame. And she's just my style. And she's just my style. to the world like I like to do. She saved me from myself when I thought I was through. She steals my heart like a thief, lets me ride on the ground like a falling leaf, turns me around in my own disbelief. She's my twin flame. She's my twin flame. And she's just my style. And she's just my style. She's my twin flame. She's my twin flame. She's my twin flame. She's my twin flame.
Here at PodMoreCigarettes.com in Akron, Ohio. I'm Seth.
I'm Chris.
All right. Well, we're done holding you back from talking about the NFL. It's time to talk NFL. The playoff race is heating up. We've got a ton of games coming up. Some of them rescheduled to weird times. I don't know about really this week, but we'll find out too while we go down the list there. Here's good news. We're going to start off with tomorrow's game. Thursday Night Football's back after, there was a mix-up the past week or so.
Kind of weird not seeing Thursday Night Football.
Exactly. But it's back. It's back tomorrow. Good news. Good news. We have the 6-6 New England Patriots who are in the hunt for a playoff spot versus the 8-4 LA Rams who are in playoff position right now. This is in LA. Again, that new LA stadium, and nobody's going to be there. Chris, who do you like?
Well, Belichick is doing what Belichick is doing, finding ways to win. So he put 45 points on a kind of improved Chargers team. They're playing decently in the last couple weeks. Their Chargers defense playing well, and he put 45 points on Chargers defense. Goff still been playing decent. Rams defense is they're playing decent. I might go with the Belichick win for this one. I'm going to throw that out there. Let's say 28, 28-21 close game.
28-21 close game there.
Something with Belichick now. He's finding this team. He's playing with really nobodies. Cam Newton's coming along a little bit. Just Belichick's doing Belichick things, just finding ways to win, out-coaching the other coaches. And I think they might win in a close game, 28-21. Could be wrong, but...
Yeah. I do agree this is going to be a close game. This is going to be one of those games you're going to want to tune into. This is going to be one of the best games of the week, I feel. Belichick, of course, one of the best football minds in the NFL. They're playing a lot better than they have. However, they have still struggled against some good teams in the league. The New England Patriots defense has always been good since Belichick's taken over. They are still good today. That's one part that's not hurting them. New England's offense, okay. They just did enough to get the job done in the past couple weeks. I'm going to go with the Rams. I am going with a 27-17 game there with the last-second field goal to help lock it up for good there. Reason being is the Rams have, I thought, been playing overall pretty good football the past, actually really all year. Their defense is still one of the top defenses in the league, and that's what's going to be the big defining moment in this game is them helping limit Newton and his weapons from moving down the ball. The Rams' offense, pretty solid. Sometimes a little inconsistent, but now against this New England defense, it's going to be, again, they're going to have a couple rough drives, but they're going to find a way to pull out a couple scores. They're also at home, too. That's the other thing. I like the Rams a little bit better in this matchup, too. This is going to be the one game where I think New England's going to end up being probably like an 8-8 team at the end of the year, something along those lines there. But this is going to be the game where they're going to realize they need a little bit more going into next year if they want to be a playoff team in the future. Again, not a bad team, of course. Newton hasn't been playing up to what he used to be, but this is going to be a down. New England's going to finally have a little bit of a down year. You know what I mean? I'm going to go with the Rams. I think this is a game they should win. And I'm not going to say it's a must-win, but this is an important win. We'll put it that way there. So that's tomorrow night there. That's going to be on Fox there, I believe. Yes, live on Fox, NFL Network there. Going on, we're going to Sunday, 1 o'clock. The 8-4 Tennessee Titans versus the 1-11 Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville. Of course, Titans and Colts are technically tied, but if we want to get more technical, Titans have the edge, and they right now have a top 4 spot. You know, who do you like here?
I like Tennessee, but I'm shouldn't be too shocked, but the way Tennessee's defense played last week was kind of shocking. Last year, they were one of the top teams in the NFL defensive-wise, and they pretty much laid an egg. Last week, it's the Browns, was kind of shocking. Expect a little more out of Tennessee's defense last week.
Especially with Vrabel there at the helm.
Yeah, out-coached. I can't believe how Tennessee got out-coached. That was very surprising to me. But Tennessee will win this week. They'll bounce back off that Browns loss. Henry will have a big day. Jacksonville defense is not very good. They're not horrible, but they're just not very good.
Right.
So it's going to be, I think, a 35-20, maybe 35-20, something like that. Henry's going to have a good game. He's going to get his numbers this week. But kind of disappointed the way how Tennessee's defense just came out flat-laid. Tennessee was overconfident too much, I think, coming in this game. The Browns did what they did, stop Henry. I think the first thing you have to do. Tannehill is not a quarterback to come back from big margins.
Right.
He's not that type of quarterback, like a Holmes and et cetera can do that, you know. Think about that game. I thought Tennessee should have threw the ball more than what they did, because Brown's secondary wasn't doing nothing, you know. So, like I said, I get Brown's props for that big win last week. That was big, and so at Tennessee this week.
I'm going to agree with you. It's going to be a blowout by at least 20 here. Jacksonville's got a lot. I mean, I'm going to look at my notes here, see who's a quarterback.
I like their quarterback now. What starts with G?
Glennon. Mike Glennon.
He's actually, he hasn't played forever in the league. They're finally playing again.
He's played for a while, yeah.
But he hasn't started forever. But I kind of like how he's not a bad quarterback for being as old as he is.
He's a strong arm pocket quarterback. And by the way, they are going with him this coming Sunday over Minshew. Minshew is active.
He's active,
but they're going to go with him over. I think Jacksonville 1-11.
Yeah.
Josh Fields is going to be a target going into that draft, because they're a quarterback away from being at least a decent. I mean, in my opinion, look at Jacksonville. I think Doug Marrone's going to be gone. But by the end of the year, I mean, you're 1-11. That's not good. Or things could change. He could pull an Eric Mangini and win his last 4 games like Mangini did with the Browns years ago. Would that save his job? I do not know. But Jacksonville has a couple key good young pieces. Yeah, if they have a good offseason, they could turn this team around starting next year.
Back.
But
Robinson, oh man, he's good.
You got
Rookie.
Miles Jack there.
Yeah,
a good receiving group. It's just getting them the ball. But Tennessee, this is a borderline must win for them because if the Colts win, then they lose their positioning. Tennessee, I thought they would have played better too last week, but they didn't. It happened. They're a bigger team too. This Jacksonville's defense is struggling. Jacksonville offensively, like I said, solid. They could do something, but again, they're going to make Vrabel's going to make some defensive changes there to make this better. And again, this is also is this a rival game? Yes, it is. AFC South.
Yeah, AFC South game.
This is a rival. They're gonna want to beat the daylights out of them to make it a statement there. I'm gonna go with Tennessee too. If you want to score 42 to 17, something like it's gonna be bad. It's not gonna be a good one for Jacksonville. Tennessee will make a statement right here, and they will improve to 9-4 as they play. Jacksonville would go down to 1-12. So there you have it. There. Buccaneers return after a bye week. They play the 6-6 Minnesota Vikings. Buccaneers are 7-5. This is in Tampa Bay. Who do you like?
I like Tampa Bay. I think Breeze will have after that bye week. Brady. Yeah.
The other old guy.
Yeah. I think Brady will have a good game. Let's see here. 28-7 or something like that.
28-7. I'm going to go a little closer.
Minnesota hasn't been scoring as much of late. They haven't really been scoring other than that one.
They had a solid couple weeks there.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 31-24. I think it's going to be closer than that one. Tampa Bay's defense is, again, solid but not up to par to what they hope this year. Tampa Bay's offense, they're good. We already know that one. Same thing, Vikings. Their defense is disappointing. Their offense can be good, and I think, exactly. You got Cook, Thielen, and Jefferson might win offensive. Well, not with Herbert there in the mix too, but he would be second. He's going to be second, easy. Maybe NFC offensive rookie of the year for sure. But Vikings are playing a little bit better. I like Tampa in this one too, though. They're at home. This is a big. This is an important game, I'm going to say. I'm not going to say must win, but this is important. I mean, because if the Vikings win, then the Buccaneers go down the fight. I mean, they would both be 7-6. So they want to space that out a little bit. They want to help secure a better position there in the playoffs. I think Buccaneers can be a playoff team. Vikings, I'm not too sure right now, but I think this is going to be a one they're going to look at and say, this is one we should win if we want to be in the playoff talks here in a couple weeks. I'm going to go Buccaneers, though. It's going to be a little bit close. That one's going to be a good game, I feel. If you got a couple fantasy guys in there, especially Cook, Mike Evans and whatnot, that's going to be pretty important for your team going there, especially if they're in the playoffs there. This game might be a little underrated there. The 11-1 Kansas City Chiefs will take on the 8-4 Miami Dolphins.
I'd love to see the Dolphins win, but I don't think it's going to happen. It might be close. Dolphins are playing a lot better. Might be a little close, especially like the last week Kansas City and Denver game. That was pretty
Denver's
tight.
got their numbers somewhere. They've really played them well.
Let's see. Kansas City wins. Let's see here. 24. 24-17.
24-17 there. I'm going to say I am going 31-10. Only because here's they're going to have the Dolphins. I can see Dolphins in the playoffs, and I think Brian Flores is up there to be a coach candidate for Coach of the Year. They play well. The thing is, I hate to remind you, but we'll talk about it a little bit more later. Steelers lost. That has opened the door for Chiefs to want that number one spot, that bye. So Chiefs are going to be like, it's now or never. We got to get these guys. This is a potential playoff matchup. It really is. In some way or form, it could be. I know Dolphins are at home. Their offense has been all right, a little inconsistent. So that's what's going to hurt them in this way. The defense there will hang on, but they might lose confidence when Mahomes figures them out. Tyreek's been playing like a monster. They've been moving the ball well there. Will they get the run game more involved? We'll see. I saw Le'Veon Bell got a lot more touches than Edwards-Helaire there.
He was out. Helaire was out.
Oh, was he out?
Yeah,
okay.
he was sick.
That's right. He was sick. But I just feel this is going to be a statement game by Kansas City. They're not going to take Miami lightly. They're going to try to find every hole they can in this defense, which is a very good defense for the record. It could be a closer game, but my gut is just telling me Mahomes hasn't gone off in a while, and he's going to. I think he's disappointed he couldn't go off last week too in front of the primetime crowd, and
Mahomes hasn't actually. He's been playing well, but not as well like he normally does. If you notice, last couple of weeks.
Well, and I think it's partially because everybody's playing each other tougher. Like the media, the video games, anything you want to look at had Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson are untouchable. You're not going to be able to stop them. And I think every team took that as a challenge. They're like, you know what? We're going to do everything in our power, to make sure these guys look human is what it is. So, again, both those quarterbacks, very good. I'm not trying to say they're not. But, let me see. I was reading a funny story there. It said on my notes there, Andy Reid sent Dolphins Brian Flores a barbecue for helping Chiefs beat the Patriots. Chiefs beating the Patriots. That's an interesting story there. There's not gonna be a barbecue this week unless they're Kansas City. But again, Kansas City's gonna look this is a chance to get that number one spot. They're gonna just out hustle. That's how I think it's. But Miami is not a fluke. I think they're just a well coached team. A little bit more, they could be way better than where they're at. And you also need to get Tua a little bit more time to adjust and whatnot. I just think their offense needs a little bit more before they take the next leap, but they could still be a playoff team this year. I'm just going with Kansas City. I was trying to see if there was anything else we need to know about that game going in, but that's going to be. I would circle that game for this week. That's going to be another good one there. Moving on, 1:00 game still on Sunday. The 4-8 Denver Broncos versus the 4-8 Carolina Panthers. This one might be. It's one of those games. It's like neither team's going to the playoffs, but it's going to be a close one there. What do you like here?
Bridgewater's playing.
Let me see.
Because he's been
McCaffrey's limited in practice.
Yeah, so McCaffrey's not gonna play, so I don't have to worry about that. I might take Denver in this one just because maybe the injuries that Carolina's having with McCaffrey not playing, etc. And Denver still has a solid defense, even though their record. They still got a solid defense. Locke's okay. He's okay. He's going to come.
They'll
around.
Look for.
Yeah. I go with Denver in this one. I go with Denver. Might be kind of. I don't know. Might be kind of close. Or might not be because the way they. Denver can score if they see here. 35-20.
35-20.
Yeah.
Going a little bit high-scoring game there.
Because just both how.
I'm going to go.
The teams are
20-17.
Okay.
Denver. I am going to go with Denver there. Carolina surprised people early on. Again, they're showing kind of their young. I won't say inexperienced, but this is a team that has a long way to go. Matt Rule's system too needs to be questioned whether it's going to work or not in this league. But he needed another. You know what I mean? They start off with the right foot. They're kind of just sliding a little bit. Denver's played Kansas City tough. So if they won one, they almost won last week. So it shows that there's talent there. Again, their defense, like you were saying, is very good. They've lost Boyd to suspension there too. Their offense can make it work when it's on, and it's a big because it depends what kind of day the running game's going to happen and what kind of day lock's going to happen.
Yeah.
Carolina defense is solid but young. I just see Denver winning this one. I think they have a little bit more firepower and a little bit more playmakers than Carolina on the other side there. Bringing up Drew Lock. We're so far enough in the season. We're in the last 4 games that we could probably start talking a little bit of offseason for some of these teams. I would not be surprised if Denver makes a run. I believe Matt Stafford is a free agent. Yeah. Somebody like it. I mean, you put Matt Stafford with some of the talented offense they have. If they could grab another receiver at a good receiving draft again next year, that's going to be a bigger threat for somebody like the Kansas City Chiefs or not, and that's all hypothetical right now. But looking ahead, Broncos do not have a bad blueprint. It's just getting the rest of the pieces there. Carolina could be another couple of years away before we could talk that. I'm going to go with Denver too. I think they played well enough to show that they could go 5-8 at the end of Sunday there. Moving on ahead, another matchup of 2 teams that will not see the playoffs probably this year. The 4-8 Houston Texans will take on the 5-7 Chicago Bears in Chicago. Chicago's still sliding after going 5-1 at the beginning of the season, so they've lost about 6 in a row. Texans playing a little better now. They're starting to get a flow in some things. Where do you think this shifts here?
I don't think they got that. I forget his name. Taking Fuller's spot right now, like Cotter or something like Cotter. Yeah, he played pretty well last week for him. Cooks had a decent game. Cook's seen some more balls last week with Fuller being out. David Johnson's back now from the concussion. He really didn't get that much of looks like he wanted to, being his first week back. I'm going to say I'll go with the Texans. Just I think they need another win, a kind of signature win there.
Right.
2017 Texans. Yeah, that's why I think so.
I'll even agree with you on the score there.
Yeah, I just don't see it being too high power. Bears defense is not bad.
No, they are very good.
So by their record, they're not bad. I think Watson's going to move the ball, but he's going to get some situations when he get down where he gets tighter. Some situations where the Bears will show what their defense is all about. I think 2017. I could be wrong, but similar.
I think the biggest impact of this game it comes down to is the Bears' offense going to show up. Yeah. Montgomery's played a lot better of late. He's really showing why they drafted him, but it just goes to, is Trubisky going to show up and be able to throw a touchdown or two to really make the difference in there? Because we know Watson's going to find a way to show up. He's going to try to do his thing. There's no doubt about that. Bears defense will have him fits, but they're going to find a way to score. Texans defense, I know it's not been the greatest Texans defense you've seen, but they have enough to hang in there with this Bears team. It's all going to come down to if Trubisky can move this ball or not, run the chase. Because Bears' offense has been hard to watch at times this year. I mean, that's why they've lost 6 in a row. They were 5-1. They're one of the few teams that have gone 5-1 and lost 5 or more in a row.
Right.
It's just the Bears need more. I like Coach Nagy there. It's just they need to figure out the quarterback situation. Give him a little more. Give him a little more on the O-line. Give him a little bit more on the receiving crew. But I would not be surprised if this is coming for me. There's a lot of teams with empty GM and coaching vacancies going into the next season. Texans being one of them. Okay,
right.
John Dorsey's name has come up in a couple of them, but they said I'm going to save my butt here for a sec. If he does take over one of these teams, whether it's the Texans, Jets have not made their clearance yet, but they could, or the Lions or somebody, that Eric, I think it's Bellamy is how you say his name, or Bellamy, from the Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator, is favored to be head coach. However, he's worked with Coach Nagy before. Could this be a situation where they say, look, we're just going to bring in a new face in the front office to get you more help, Coach? Since you guys worked together before, and we like Nagy. We think his program, we think his schemes could fit our style. It's just this guy needs a little bit more help. So we're going to put a guy in the front office that knows him and can give him the right players and whatnot. I think that potentially that's going to happen. With the Texans, who knows what's going to happen, really, if they're going to retain Romeo Crennel or not. And Crennel has not done a bad job.
He has not, no.
He has really not.
I think they should give him a shot. I mean, I think we should. Yeah. He showed that, he's pretty much made them a little more competitive than they were beginning of the season.
Right.
I think they should give him a shot, but who knows? I'm not the...
I'd say give him a shot with the right GM.
Right,
yeah. Not Phil Savage, obviously, who had the one good year there, but just get a good NFL mind up in the front office that's going to give him the players to work with and whatnot. He's already got some good guys there. The quarterback position's handled.
Oh, yeah.
In Crennel's defense, okay, other than the fluke Derek Anderson year, this is the first time he's had an established quarterback team as head coach. You know what I mean? You looked at the Browns and what they put through. You look at the Chiefs and what they put. Brady Quinn was in both. Yeah. Brady Quinn ain't there anymore. I'm sure he's a good guy, but now he's got Deshaun Watson. Maybe keep him there. Say like the team likes to play with him, and just say we got our guy there. We're gonna get somebody in the front office to help him out and move forward there.
Right.
Anyway, we'll see what happens as far as either team is concerned. This is a lot of pure speculation. We're going with Texans in a close one against the Bears there. So that Texans would improve to 5 wins right there, and then Bears would lose 7 in a row for right there. All right, this one might be a little bit better than I thought. A couple weeks ago, if you were to ask me, I would not have said so. But the 6-6 Arizona Cardinals will go to New York and play the 5-7 New York Giants, who have been playing much better than they had. I thought they were a top 3 pick team. Not anymore. Now they're in the playoff talk. Who do you like here?
Is Colt McCoy playing this week?
Colt McCoy
is he playing this week?
He's playing this week.
I want to go with. Oh man, that's good. I like the running back for New York, Gallo, whatever his name is. He's a tough runner. I like the way he runs.
Daniel Jones is unclear right now, so right now McCoy is the guy.
McCoy's playing.
Yeah, right.
McCoy beat Seattle last week.
Right.
You can tell it's 2020 that happening. Wow.
Yeah.
Weird stuff, but I'll go with. I said go with Cardinals, even though. Go Cardinals this week. I'll go 21-17. Gonna be close, I think, because Cardinals kind of hadn't been playing that well of late. So 21-17 Cardinals. Be a good game.
There you go. I'm gonna go 17-13 Giants.
Okay.
Here's the reason why. All right, Giants defense is not bad. They're not bad at all. They have some good playmakers on that defense there, and they've made the difference. They made the difference last week too. The offense is going to be a little wishy-washy, but they're going to do enough. Colt McCoy, he's always been that guy. He throws a good short pass. He can move the ball somewhat to the best of his ability. He's just always been the backup that he can get it done when he needs to. The run game is. Again, it's up in there what they're going to have. Here's the reason why I'm going with the Giants here. It's going a little bit more technical. A couple weeks ago, I was praising Arizona on their firepower, whatever. I'm watching Red Zone, and they're showing the Arizona game, and Kyler and Kingsbury are on different pages. They're sitting there. They're talking to each other. Something is off. There's a gut feeling you have. Something went wrong. And I forget who they played last week. It's slipping my mind where they lost. But something happened, and they did not look nearly as good as they had been in the past. And they've been kind of slimy. They've been losing a couple here.
Yeah.
I'm not saying everything's going straight to hell for Arizona right now. I'm not saying that it's panic mode time, but something is not there that was there a month ago. You know what I mean? And just Kyler did not look like himself.
Yeah.
And he is due for their game. But however, again, this Giants team, they beat the Seahawks, the red hot Seahawks. And Arizona, I think, beat the Seahawks at a time, too, early this year. Okay, but that was still a close game.
Close game, yeah.
Giants saw Washington win. They're seeing the Eagles and Dallas decline. They're thinking playoffs could be realistic here. So it's time to step up there. Coach Judge has not done a bad job there. My gut is telling me Arizona is going to be surprised going into this game. Again, it's not going to be it's going to be close. It's just not going to be a good game.
Right.
But that defense is going to be able to hang in with the Hopkins. It's going to be able to hang in with Murray. The run game has not been able to get going. Drake was just I saw some rankings of the top 5 most most disappointing fantasy players. Drake being one of them in there. Which I kind of saw that one coming. I never drafted
He was highly drafted in my league, pretty high.
Yeah,
Drake was.
I wasn't willing to touch him a couple months ago. More back in August when we were drafting and whatnot. For those reasons, I think, believe it or not, this Giants team has turned a corner for better. If they ever do make the playoffs, I mean, it's probably a one round and done kind of deal. Yeah. But it's encouraging to see what the difference Coach Judge has made to this team already. I'm gonna go with the Giants. It's gonna be a close one. We'll just have to see how it pans out there.
Right.
One more before we go on break, and this is another bad one here. The 3-9 Dallas Cowboys will go to Cincinnati to play the 2-9-1 Bengals here. Who do you like in this one? Andy Dalton returning to Cincinnati, mind you.
Man. Both don't have really very good defenses. They're both playing on backup quarterbacks. Man, this one. I'll go with the Cowboys.
I'll go Cowboys.
I'll go Cowboys in a close one. Not saying Cowboys didn't play, if you think about it, against the Ravens that bad for a while. They hung in there a little bit for a while until the penalties started kicking in, and all that started kicking in. They hung in there. I think Cowboys an ugly game, 14-17, ugly. They get a win and.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Walk out the win.
Well, remember, this is a big one for the Cowboys if they get. That's how close their division is. If it was any other division, it'd be just a win.
Cincinnati's just not. They paired their back up. Yeah. Lost Burrow for the season. Cincinnati's done. They're just playing to play. Cowboys have something still to kind of play for.
Right.
Because of that weak division. So.
Right.
Yeah, Cowboys, 17-14.
I agree with you. I'm just going to go a touchdown up to 24-21. And here's the reason why. First of all, Andy Dalton's going to be the reason they win this game. Zeke's not playing well. He's actually limited in practice right now, they're saying, so he's already banged up. Dalton wants to win in Cincinnati.
Right.
You know what I mean? This is a big deal for him personally. I don't think he thought he was going to be playing this game when it was scheduled, you know. The other reason, too, is, Finley, he's so-so as a backup for Cincinnati. However, the offense is still moving the ball because Zach Taylor has programmed a great, he's got a great offensive scheme up there. You know what I mean? They're still getting to the receivers. The run game could be a bit better, but they're still finding a way to score with the passing game there, which was the same story when Burrow was there. And not injured. Cowboys and Bengals have terrible defenses. Okay, that's going to open up for some holes and whatnot. Both of them have great receiving squads, though, too. I think you're going to see a couple more touchdowns because those defenses are so bad. But Dalton's going to be the end-all in this game. He's going to lead the charge and lead a game-winning drive. And I'm going to assume that there's going to be a good amount of turnovers too between the two quarterbacks because I always made that joke when he was in Cincinnati. What was his favorite dessert? Can you guess? Apple turnover, because he always turned over the ball there. And then Finley's, he's Finley. I mean, he's just there right now. You know what I mean? He hasn't played terrible, but he hasn't played great either. I'm going to go with the Cowboys. America's team right now.
Yeah.
Just give them another win, but that's going to give them hope and something to look forward to the next couple weeks. Like I said, that'd be a big win for them. We have not talked Steelers or Browns yet. That's going to come up after our break. So we'll talk about the rest of the NFL and more coming up on after our break. Give us 5 minutes here on PalmerCityRecords.com, and we'll be back here on 10 Cent Beer Night.
These blues. This morning the blues walked in like a man. All these blues. The blues walked in like a man. Worried blues. Give me your right hand. All the blues is a low down and a shaking chill. Yes, preach it now. If you ain't never had 'em, I hope you never will. When I preach these blues, you come on in, take your seat and sit on down. When I preach these blues, you come on in, take your seat and sit on down. And if the spirit moves you, if the spirit moves you, and if the spirit moves you, Lord, if the spirit moves you, jump straight up and down. That these blues is a low down and an aching heart disease. Yeah, these blues is a low down and an aching old heart disease. Like consumption, killing me by degrees. can study the rain. Oh, I drive my blues away. I've been studying the rain. I'm gonna drive my blues away. Going out to the distillery. Gonna stay out there all day. Up jumped the devil.
Welcome back to 10-Cent Beer Night. That's our last half hour of the show today. I'm Seth and he's Chris. There you go. Before we go and talk about back to our NFL games and our predictions and all that, we did have some breaking news in between. Major League Baseball has just announced their first all Major League Baseball team awards, first and second team, something the NFL and NBA have. And for the first ever Major League Baseball team awards, Shane Bieber, the Cy Young winner, of course, makes the first team, being just dominant this year. Third base, Jose Ramirez makes the second team. Closer Brad Hand makes the second team as well. So a couple trio of Indians make between the two teams, which was one of the most out of all the teams in general. Probably Indians were in the top 5 there on most between the two. So that's good. That's good to hear for Cleveland Indians. So I don't know if Brad Hand will be with us next year, but the other two will be. So it's going to be nice going in with that one there. So anyway, let's go back to the NFL here. Moving on to our games. We are at the 4 o'clock games now for Sunday. The 8-4 Indianapolis Colts tied with the Tennessee Titans for the top of their division will take on the 7-5 Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders almost losing to the Jets last week. How gut-wrenching it has to be a Jets fan rewatching that. And I just shook. I said, right when he threw that pass, I said, watch it happen. And then good for the Raiders there. Colts playing very good football, though. But where do you see it going? Who's going to win coming down to Las Vegas?
I pick Colts. I think Colts are just a little more better than the Raiders right now. Defensive-wise, Colts' defense is pretty good, if healthy. I think they're back to being healthy. Rivers is old man. I call him Old Man Rivers. He's still Rivers, whatever, but he's getting the job done, it seems like, in this year. They're winning games. Colts win this one here. Let's see here. 28-14. I think by 2 touchdowns.
You go with that.
Colts. Yeah.
I'm going to go 31-17 Colts. I agree with you there. Colts have one of, if not the best defense in the league. They've been playing very good on the defensive end. Rivers has just found a way to move the ball and get them in the end zone. You know what I mean? This team is just very well coached. Very, of course, this is one of those teams you look and it's more promising towards the future than it is now.
Right.
They'll make I'm convinced they're going to make the playoffs. But again, Rivers is the answer for the rest of the year, but he's not going to be the answer going into the next couple of years, so they're going to need to find an answer quarterback there. But they've got some very good pieces. They've got some very fast players, very finesse kind of style. They moved, again, like I said, they've moved the ball very, very well. Raiders, again, almost lost to the Jets. They're very banged up on the offensive end of things. Their defense is inconsistent. I don't see it this week. I think this is going to be a good win for the Colts there. Raiders could surprise me. They've always come up with that surprise win somewhere there. But I think Gruden needs a little bit more to make it into the postseason. I just don't think they'll have this year. I can see them as like an 8-8 team there. Play it week by week. But right now, I'm going to agree with you. I think the Colts have this one. Look at the notes, nothing special, just some of the normal injuries and whatnot. Can see in that game. This one, the 0-12 New York Jets will go against the 8-4 Seattle Seahawks. Seattle upsetted by another New York team last week. Could it happen again? Chris, what do you think?
Jets 7-0.
Jets something.
It's like messing around. Seattle win this game big. This will be a blowout. It might even be 42 to. It might even get field goal and a touchdown. Jets 42-10.
Yeah.
Metcalf should have a field day this game. Too bad I'm not playing this week in fantasy. I'm gonna buy.
All right.
Because this is a good matchup for Metcalf, and 42-10. It'll be over first quarter. Yeah.
There you go. I'm going to go 49-13. I'm going to give the Jets a touchdown here, but Jamal Adams is going to score a touchdown too as well. He's looking forward to that matchup there. Seattle, it's not a must-need win, but it's an important. It's an important one against the Jets.
Yeah.
If the Rams do indeed win tomorrow, my prediction is right. Seattle knows they got to win this game to keep trying to win that division. You know what I mean? It's going to be really neck to neck between those two. Seattle lost against a team they should have beat last week, even though the Giants played well. They really did. I'm not going to take that away from the Giants. Seattle's just going to want to make sure they win this game, so they're going to beat the daylights out of them to the point you said it's going to be over before halftime. Yeah. Maybe after that first quarter, you're saying. I wouldn't rule that out right now. Jets just are a mess. I am just shocked with all the coach firings and GM firings we've seen in the league. Adam Gase is still sitting pretty.
Right.
Now it might be one of those things where ownership's like, look, if we go in 16 whatever, we just want that top pick, So they just want a clean house, but make sure they secure that top pick.
The thing about Jets is they haven't won, but they're still playing. If you noticed last week, they're still playing to win.
Yeah.
Until that stupid coaching decision at the end there, where he got him fired. They're still playing to win. Right. So
it's referring to Greg Williams, by the way, the D coordinator. I forgot to mention.
If you don't want, you can't look over it. It's NFL. You really can't look over anybody.
Right.
Any given Sunday, anybody can win. That's the way I look at it. Of course, we've seen that already this year. But it should be no matchup, though. It'll be
exactly. And for your Browns fans watching, too, the Browns still play the Giants and Jets that time. They cannot just write a W next day.
Right.
They've got to show up and play. But we are in agreement there. Seattle is going to win against the Jets. Jets would be 0-13. Seattle would be 9-4 in that situation there. We move on. This game might be a little bit surprising for some people there. The 9-3 Green Bay Packers in Detroit to play the 5-7 Lions. Who do you like here?
I like the Packers. Rodgers and Adams combo has been very nice for Green Bay.
Adams been very healthy this year.
He's healthy. Great, a big plus for me in fantasy. Green Bay's defense hasn't been playing so well, but they've been getting the job done. Detroit's fired their coach, 2 weeks ago, whatever.
Yeah, after Thanksgiving.
After Thanksgiving, so I like Green Bay in this one. Michael Hyde, it might be Detroit's defense not very well, so it might be high scoring. They might put Roger might put some touchdowns up. I'd say 35-17, a couple field goals and touchdown there for 35-17.
35-17. I think this one's going to be a little closer. I'm going to go 42-35. It's going to be high scoring. Here's the reason why. Some people are like, really? On that one, okay? Lions don't have a bad offense.
Yeah.
Packers do not have a great defense. Mike Pettin has struggled throughout this year. This is a rival game. This is in Detroit. The Lions are going to do whatever they want to win. Lions aren't planning on tanking.
Right.
This guy, the interim, might want to stay to be their head coach, so to prove that they're going to win. But I think the Green Bay's got enough firepower on offense to have the edge in this one. Green Bay's offense has been a well-oiled machine all year. Even when people thought maybe the draft of Love might had shaken a rift between him and the coach, Rodgers and the coach. It really hasn't. They've stayed strong. They played very well. But that Packers team's just not up to par where it should be. And that's going to hurt them going in the playoffs. You know what I mean? And that's where the defense more has to back up Rodgers than the offense itself does, because offense has been played great. Again, Lions' offense is not bad. It's the question, too, is Swift going to play or not? Yeah, if not, it's looking like he might not.
Yeah.
If not, that's going to hurt them. If so, that's going to help them much. I mean, it depends how well he's been able to play. But they got some good receivers there. Stafford, again, he's a contract year if I'm correct. And I'm not 100%. That's why I brought it up with the Denver thing. I think he is, but I don't. I have to relook it up. They're going to want to play hard. This is going to be a good game, I think, though. But I'm going to agree with you though. Green Bay is going to win their 10th game this Sunday here. This one's going to be interesting here. The 4-8 Atlanta Falcons will go into LA playing the 3-9 Chargers. Who do you like?
I like Atlanta. Atlanta, might be high scoring because their offense, Atlanta's offense can score. They put some points up this year.
Yes, they can.
Let's see here. 28-14. Ryan with the turnover too in that game to make it make the score not go, make the game not go out of hand. I think he might have a turnover too, because the Chargers defense is not bad. They just got outplayed last week, outcoached last week. They're not a bad defense. So I think this one's going to be. But I like Atlanta in this one.
There you go. I'm going to go 31-28 Chargers. They're at home in this one.
Yeah.
I don't think highly of both defenses. I think Chargers defense could be a bit better than what it is, especially with Lynn there as coach. He's a defensive guy. But you're right. Atlanta can score the ball. They're a high-passing, scoring offense, and so is the Chargers. Herbert needs to win a good one at home. This one, it's going to be a close one. It's going to be a good one. Both the run games have been very disappointing this year. I think it stays that way in this game there. I could see Chargers with a game-winning field goal here, last second. That's where I say. I think it's going to go back and forth. There's going to be turnovers on both sides.
True, yeah.
But they're both high-powered passing teams to both bad defenses.
Right.
So, but I'm gonna go with Chargers here. They're going to win their fourth game there. But we'll see. He's got Falcons. I got Chargers there. This one could be interesting though. The 5-7 Washington football team against the 5-7 San Francisco 49ers. Despite the injuries, 49ers have been playing tough. Washington football team coming off a big win against Pittsburgh. It is Alex Smith comes back to San Francisco. Who do you like?
I like Washington. San Francisco's too banged up. They're too banged up. It's funny, the other night their game was on. They're showing all pretty much the whole the offensive guys sitting in the box, you know.
Right.
It's like they're banged up. I like Washington defense is good. They're solid. They get after the quarterback. Chase Young is playing lights out. I like the way Washington coaches. Forget their coach's name.
Rivera.
He's having them playing tough. In that Steelers game, he pretty much outcoached Tomlin in the second half. I like Washington in this one. I think it'll be. Let's see here. I think it'll be 24-17 Washington. I think Alex Smith will have another good game. I pick him for the comeback player of the year, Alex Smith. What he did in the Steelers game Monday is phenomenal. On one leg, think about it. He has one good leg. What he did, he stayed in the pocket, getting rushed. He got the ball off. They did the little things against Steelers to win that game, and to make the comeback. Between was 14-3 at halftime. But I like Washington. Washington defense is playing well. Chase Young's playing lights out. So
a top 5 defense in the league. Chase Young probably will be defensive rookie of the year.
Right.
Probably one of the best defensive prospects since Myles Garrett to be drafted. And we knew that going in. when the I remember when the Browns were struggling last year. I said, you know what, might as well tank and get Chase Young, put him next to Garrett. Well, I'm kind of glad they didn't do that, but if they did, that would have been monstrous. But again, they could have also had T.J. Watt with Myles Garrett, but that's a whole other story, you know. But there's no denying Chase Young is a special talent. That's what I'm just trying to say. San Francisco, they fight, but they always fall. They don't have enough to get over that hump. Again, they're too injured. It's not even Kyle Shanahan's fault this year. 27-10, I'm going with Washington football team. This is going to be a big win for them, too, because if I'm right and the Giants win this weekend, then they stay tied. Yeah. But if you're right and the Giants lose, then Washington goes up there, and they're sitting pretty there. Because in that division, I mean, again, if Dallas can win this weekend, they're kind of still just there. I'm writing the Eagles off right now. It's just they're just not. Now, if Hurts can find a way, it's going to take. They're going to have to win out. That's how it's going to have to happen. But Washington, again, great defense. Gibson is hurt, might not be able to play this game, but they found a way to win without him at the last.
No,
game
the backup. He's well.
Jake,
Mitchell.
Yeah,
or whatever. He's played well without.
Jake Missick.
He's played well this year. Yeah. Because they run the 1-2 running back. He played well this year, being the second, being the backup. You know, he's not a bad backup at all. They're just they're well coached. Washington is well coached, and they got the future ahead of them is good.
Yes, they got a great blueprint, and Ron Rivera was a heck of. That's why they jumped on him when he became available, and they were all in there. So we're in agreement there. Washington is going to win that game there. Got three more. And of course, we saved the two bigger ones for last. But before we get to that, 4:25, the New Orleans 10-2 Saints, who clinched the playoff spot, will play the 3-8-1 Philadelphia Eagles in Philly. Jalen Hurts is the starting quarterback. How do you feel about that? The two backup quarterbacks going at it.
I like Hurts a lot, especially what I was seeing the other night with him just coming in and they benched Wentz, how he moved that offense with him running ability and his throwing ability. He moved that. They ran down the field where he scored his first touchdown.
Right.
You know, of NFL career. I like the way how he, you know, their line's still banged up, Eagles, but with his feet work, I like the way how Eagles can move their offense now without Wentz, with Hurts, and I picked the Eagles this game. I think Eagles defense is still playing. They're playing solid, but not great. But their defense is still not bad.
Right.
Eagles. I think I picked the Eagles to win this game. I think it's going to be. I think Hill's going to want to run a lot on Eagles defense, and Eagles defense stuffs the run pretty good. So I'm going to pick the on the upset Eagles in this game. Let's see. 21, kind of defense a little bit. Both have decent defense. 21, 21-20.
21-20.
Something crazy like that.
I'm going to go 2014. I'm going to go with the Saints, though. Hurts will have a good game. I'm convinced Hurts will have a good game. This is his time. He's going to take it over. If you're Carson Wentz, I mean, he might be seeing a different atmosphere next year if things go well with Jalen Hurts. There's like people thought that it was weird they drafted him in the second round. It might now make sense now why they picked him there. Saints are just playing well even without Breeze. They're finding a ways to win. I know Breeze has been in the background, really been a help mentally for them. I'm not going to say Hill is going to be the future for sure. It ends for Breeze there. I do think he takes better control of the ball than Winston does. It's just I'm just not. I think Eagles, again, just similar to 49ers, are kind of banged up, especially in the offensive end. They just don't have. I mean, the defense, like I said, is all right.
Their defense is make them hang in there.
Right.
You know, they make them hang in these games.
Right. It does, and I'm not going to take away from that. It's just I think Saints got enough to pull it out this week. You know, Kamara's going to make a big difference too. He's been playing well of late too. I'm going to go with Saints there. We got to move right along so we have enough time to talk about these guys. We got a great Sunday night matchup for you. The 11-1 Pittsburgh Steelers versus the 9-3 Buffalo Bills. All right, Chris. Your Steelers lost their first game this past Monday night. Where do they go against the Bills that won another great Monday night game?
Well, Allen's an elite quarterback. He's tough.
You got him elite.
I think he's going to be. He's tough. He showed me a lot.
He is good.
Games. He's good. He's going to be an elite quarterback. I know he's going to be there. I could go on and on a night about Steelers, but I'm not mad about that loss. I think it could be a good loss or a bad loss, but I'm thinking in my mind it's a good loss. Could be a wake-up call because they haven't been playing well at all. Even the games that they won, they haven't been playing that well. Yes, there's injuries. There's injuries that Steelers defense don't want to have, and they have them right now.
They added
Bud
another
Dupree's
one.
out. Spleen's going to be out for a couple weeks. Of course, you had Bush out. Then you're going to have more likely Hayden out concussion. Nelson should be back this week. He was out last week. He should be back this week. At least hope he's back, because if he's out and Hayden's out, they're gonna be real trouble in the back in the backfield there. So yeah, they're going through some growing pains right now with the injuries and COVID, but it's football. Next man up. You can't. I'm not gonna say this and this is why they lost. They lost because they played bad. 8 drop passes, 1 in the end zone, no running game. Connor should be back off a COVID list. Pounder should be back off a Pouncey should be back off a COVID list, which that hurt them with him out.
Right.
Because him and Ben are like just bread and butter.
Exactly.
So with him coming back, I think will set this offense up a little more better and get more of that rhythm, because they've just been out of rhythm with certain injuries and COVID stuff and all that, but they haven't been playing well, and that's why they got beat. I'm not going to sit here and say why this and this and that. They should have won. They have not been playing well, and they got beat. What to top 5 defense that played well. Alex Smith played well. They got outcoached. So, tough one for me to call. Wish I didn't have to call this game, but I have a weird gut feeling. I think Steelers are going to drop another one this week. Buffalo's going to win 24-20. I don't see a wake-up call happening this quick in Pittsburgh. The running game is just behind the 8 ball right now. It'll be Connor's first game back from COVID. How well is he still from his COVID? Will he have enough strength to carry this offense back? They're injured. They're banged up on defense. That's what freaks me out with them. So banged up on defense right now.
Right.
And then with Allen playing well for Buffalo. I think Bills win 2024. Yeah, I said it. Hopefully I'm wrong, but it's time of the schedule now. This back end of the schedule. Yeah, everybody's cracking on Steelers' schedule, but this back end of the Steelers' schedule is tough. Because you got Bills, Colts, and the Browns.
Right.
It's tough. So
you play winning teams there.
But I hope Steelers prove me wrong. But I've been thinking about this all week, and I'm been trying to match things up all week in this game and this and this. I think Bills, they're at home too.
Yeah.
So, but I think hopefully Steelers prove me wrong. They just got to play well. If Steelers can catch the ball and move their offense, I think Steelers will have a good position to win this week. But if they don't do that, they're definitely going to.
Well, and then I want to add real quick, I hate the schedule excuse too. I went off. I had a friend who's also a big Steelers fan, and I defended him because I said when they make these schedules, they don't know who's going to be good and who's going to be bad. And I said this game's always been about wins and losses, and that's it. If you win, you win. It doesn't matter if it's the 0-12 Jets or the 11-1 Steelers. I hope you're right for the sake of the Browns. I'm going to go the opposite though. I'm going to say 24-10 Steelers. And the reason being, here's the thing, is I think Tomlin's a good coach. They're well coached. I think a wake-up call could be faster. Josh Allen has been so against the good. I'm not saying he can't beat the good. No, because he has.
Right.
Bills are great on both ends of the ball. This is a very good Bills team. If there's the time to be a Bills fan, just like this is the time to be a Browns fan, it is now.
Yeah.
I'm not playing against the Bills. But here's another scenario for me. I'm interested to see what the weather's going to be like this Sunday. And I'm dead serious. Because if we have a normal Buffalo December game and they get hit with a couple inches of snow, they're going to need to run the ball, both teams. Give me the Steelers run game over the Bills run game. That's the one thing the Bills cannot do consistently this year, is they cannot run the ball well.
But is this going to be a run game past last couple weeks run game Steelers, or is this going to be a run game with maybe Connor back?
Right.
Starting and then Snell coming in that way, or
whatever works, basically.
Yeah.
Maybe short passing or whatever, but it's going to come down to Steelers are going to be, because everybody celebrated. They got that one loss, whatever. They've heard the noise. They're ready to move on. They're ready for the next game, and they know this is a potential playoff matchup. This could be a realistic playoff matchup. The scenario in this situation would normally be in Pittsburgh, but it's in Buffalo this time. But I think this is going to be a wake-up call for both teams in the way that the Bills need, we need to play a little bit better in a certain way against some of these better teams. And Steelers are going to bounce back and say, hey, you kept talking about our schedule. We just beat a good team.
Yeah.
So that's what it's going to come down to. I do think there's that possibility the Bills do what you said, pretty rough, but I'm going to go with Steelers here. I just think they have the edge. And again, it's going to...
I think if defensive end wise, if Bud Dupree was in, he had Bud Dupree and JJ on both sides.
Right.
I think I'd be a little more in favor for Steelers this game, because now they're gonna run the Bud Dupree side's not there.
Right.
And you got Highsmith right there, the rookie. He's decent, but he's not the answer yet. So the Steelers right now, defense was the top defense in my eyes beginning of the year and season. Now they're not the top defense in my eyes. They're just the defense of now with all the injuries kind of concerns me, and none of them guys, Spleen's not going to be healthy right away. A couple weeks he's going to be out. So you got all these, it's a game. You got to play the game still, but next man up. But it's just a little concerning right now, especially for the rush defense wise.
There you go.
So
we got to hurry it up. We're a little over time, but we got one excuse because we have not talked about the Browns yet. That's their Monday night game. Browns just got an announcement this morning. They are going to play back-to-back primetime games. They've been moved up to Sunday night the following week, but they got a big one this week that they have to play. The 7-5 Baltimore Ravens at the 9-3 Cleveland Browns. If you were to tell me the Browns were ahead of the Ravens at this time of the year, I would say we're not there yet. Well, no, we are there. That's what's happening. Monday night in Cleveland, Mike DeWine can't send anybody home early. What happens in Cleveland?
Is he going to have fans? That's the thing I wonder.
Yeah, they're going to have fans. They're going to have fans. But what happens?
Ravens win. Reason why? Ravens. They might not have Andrews. I don't know, but you got healthiness now. You got of course Lamar Jackson back. He hurts the Browns. By the beginning of the year, he hurt the Browns. You got Dobbs back. You got see who's back. Basically, you got four top. They run 4 deep running backs.
Right, correct.
And they're all healthy, pretty much. But they run 4 deep and they're all healthy. Browns secondary is not very good.
Right now, no, they're banged up. No Denzel Ward.
No Ward. They're just lack experience.
No
Harrison. So they're going to press that. Ravens are going to press that. Ravens defense, I think, is going to show up. They showed up. They proved a little bit. They showed up against the Cowboys a little bit. I think their defense is going to show up. It's going to be a close game in Cleveland. I'm not sure if Mayfield's going to have a game like he did against the Titans D. I'm not sure if he's going to be like that again. I'm not sure, but I think Ravens in a close one. 27-24.
27-24.
Close game. It's going to be defensive game. It's going to be AFC North game, defensive game. But I think Ravens want this game a little more because they're fighting to get in.
Right.
They're fighting to get into the playoffs. So, yeah, they're much healthier than they were. I think it's going to be a close game, but I think the Ravens are going to win this one.
Wyatt Teller's going to be out because he's on the COVID list.
Yeah.
That part does hurt the Browns there. Here's the thing: the stakes have never been, the morale, I should say, has never been high in Cleveland since 2007. Even then, we looked as the Steelers to the Ravens as the threat. Now we swept the Ravens that year, but so again, it's how should I say it? we are now in a very different spot than we've been in the past 15 years.
Yeah, oh yeah,
That's what I'm trying to say, 13 years.
Yeah.
I had said at the beginning of the season when they played the Ravens, if they get their butt handed to them, Browns are going to win it round 2.
Yeah.
I stand by that prediction.
Mm-hmm.
And they did. The Ravens rolled, okay? You have the Browns 9-3. With the Steelers' loss last week, mentally they think there's a chance to win the division. Now, I'm not saying they will, but mentally they're thinking that. In order to do that, they have to knock out the Ravens here. This is a must-win for both teams. This is.
Oh, yeah.
This is a must-win. Browns' last 4 games are 2 division rivals, Ravens and Steelers, and then the 2 New York teams, okay? They need to walk away with at least one of these divisions. I prefer both, but they need to walk away with both of them. They're prime time. They're in front of everybody. They're feeling good. Yes, they are banged up. Yes, their defense is not up to par where we like to be. They're finding a way to turn over the ball and win games. They proved me wrong last week. They shut down Derrick Henry. They're going to shut down Lamar Jackson on Monday. Cleveland wins 38-17. They're going to roll and shock everybody on Monday night as a statement win, and they're going to knock the Ravens out of the playoff race. And Modell's going to feel it in his cell in hell. On that note, you guys take your notes, see if me and Chris are right or wrong. Thank you, Chris, for coming in. We'll probably see you next week there. Thank you for tuning in at PolyBirthDayRecords.com. We went a little bit over because we had to at least talk about the Browns there. I'm Seth. He's Chris. This was 10 Step Beer Night. We will see you next week, 7:30 9:30 Eastern Time. Go Browns!